everybody. Welcome to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. I am your host, Rusty Peace, and we are into it for the first week of October. And with that, we've got homecoming weekend coming up this weekend. Big weekend here on the LMU campus. Unfortunately for LMU Athletics, the only teams to play at home this weekend will be the LMU men's and women's soccer teams. Now, that's not entirely accurate because really Monday and Tuesday, the LMU men's golf team is expected to host the State Farm Intercollegiate, and that'll be over at Woodlake Golf Course in Tazewell, Tennessee. Now, that's going to be weather permitting, so while it's not this weekend's play, it is involved this week, and then we'll have some other things going on later on. But big week in LMU athletics. The LMU soccer teams in a lot of action. Unfortunately, had one pushed up to Barberville because of weather, but played at home on Wednesday, and we'll talk about those matches for both the men's and women's programs. The volleyball team had a huge week. Soccer and volleyball are the first topics of discussion. Matt Green is our guest tonight, athletics director at Lincoln Memorial, and he'll be in the second segment of the show right after this.
Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Subway of Harrigan and Middlesboro has your fresh interest at heart. On your way to work, try one of our mouth-watering breakfast sandwiches or flatbread omelets. If it's lunch or dinner you're after, choose from a wide selection of classic, select, or premium sandwiches that are all made specifically to order. Serving a crowd, Subway also has sandwich planners, giant subs, box lunches, and even cookie platters. Be it dine in or carry out, you can eat healthy and eat fresh at Subway. 368 Catawba Avenue in Harrigan and on the corner of the Village Square Mall, Middlesboro. You love your car or truck? Let us help you keep it clean at Soapy J's. Soapy J's has unlimited wash plans to fit every budget. Try our $5 express wash or one of our 3 monthly wash plans. The Wheel Deal, the Soapy J, or the new Blast Wax. With our monthly wash plans, if you pay with credit card, all you do is pay for the present month and your card will be billed on the first of each month. Don't forget, Soapy J's has free vacuums with any wash. Soapy J's Express Car Wash, open 7 days a week. Let us help keep your car or truck clean at Soapy J's. Soapy J's on the Cumberland Gap Parkway, Middlesboro. Their institutional case good or architectural woodwork. Nolan Products Incorporated of Knoxville has been serving East Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, and Southeast Kentucky since 1958. From concept to finish, Nolan Products custom builds to the highest quality standards to meet your facility specifications while using only the finest materials available. Nolan Products has been serving and meeting the needs and requirements of general contractors and architects in East Tennessee and surrounding area for more than 55 years. Nolan Products Incorporated, 912 Forsyth Street Northeast, Knoxville.
Welcome back to the show. As usual, we open this week with the LMU ladies of the court. And last week, the Lincoln Memorial University volleyball team had a solid showing, knocking off the Trojans of Anderson University 3-0 Friday evening in the Mars Gym before returning to play at home Saturday against the Wolves of Newberry College to capture a 3-1 victory. The weekend's effort pushed the LMU women back to the 500 mark at 6-6 overall, while they moved their conference record to 4-5 on the year. After Saturday's match with Newberry, Jenny Michaels spoke with Mike Smith and I about the win and about the overall efforts.
You know, credit to Newberry because they didn't stop. You know, they put us in uncomfortable situations and made, you know, they limited the number of errors that they had in that third set. And we didn't when we did the reverse. You know, like we had gotten a lot better. We'd been continuing and improving our efficiency and minimizing our unforced errors. And then unfortunately that third set, you know, the ugly error demon, you know, raised his little head again. And I think there was one point, I think it was like around the first time out, you know, it was like 16 something or whatever, and half of their points were on our errors. Not just hitting errors, you know, and that's not even counting any kind of miscommunication, miscue that the ball dropped, that maybe they got a kill for or whatever. So that was just really frustrating, but was glad to see when we came in then to the fourth set, we talked about it on the sideline, like, look, we know that was on us. You know, they did a nice job, but if we minimize the mistakes and don't give them half of their points, then maybe we're not even playing this set. So we refocused and we did some better things. And
the Lady Railsplitters again returned to the home floor for Dig Pink Night on Tuesday evening to raise awareness in the fight against cancer and for their final outing of a 5-match homestand to take on Tony Fontanelle and the Lions of Mars Hill University. The Lions entered their first meeting of the regular season with the LMU women at 4-8 overall and 2-6 in the SAC and trying to snap a 4-match losing streak, while Michael and her club had won 3 of their last 4 matches in conference. And try as they did, Tuesday evening's bout with Lincoln Memorial wasn't going to pull the thorn from the Lions' paw. From the opening serve, the Lady Railsplitters cracked the whip on the Lions and never backed off as they rolled to a 3-set victory, winning 25-9, 25-12, and 25-13. Following the match, Michael was pleased with her team's more consistent performance.
I think it was possibly Saturday's match even. You know, our hitting percentage, I looked down, and then when I was in the locker room, I was like, oh, I think that might have been like our highest average for the year up to that point, and I think we may have just gotten a little bit higher tonight. So it's nice to see that we are moving in the right direction, but I really like seeing the fact that we minimized our hitting errors to under 10 for the entire match. That's really an attribute to our offense and being able to be a little bit more efficient and recognizing, you know, opportunities that we can really terminate versus opportunities that we need to just live to fight another day. Now, I will be a little bit picky on this. I mean, there were still some that, you know, we put our hitters in great situations and we still weren't able to terminate against no block or one block. It was like we're trying to finish the match on just one swing. So we still have some mentality that we're going to be, you know, going back and, you know, taking a look at and really just trying to help mentally focus in on recognizing those situations a little bit better.
This weekend, the Lady Railsplitters will step away from conference play and will travel to Greenwood, South Carolina for the SAC versus Peach Belt Conference Challenge. The event was questionable this weekend due to the extreme flooding throughout the state. However, according to our latest information, it is to be played as expected at the original times and location in Greenwood, and we'll have results on next week's show as to how the Lady Railsplitters fare. And turning to women's soccer, Mother Nature wasn't the only one to hand the Lincoln Memorial University women's soccer program a setback last week. After rainy conditions forced Saturday's scheduled conference match with number 12 nationally ranked Wingate University into Sunday and to be moved to nearby Union College, Sunday afternoon the Bulldogs of Wingate dealt the Lady Railsplitters a 2-0 loss in conference play while handing them their second loss of the past 3 matches. Goals in the 34th and 63rd minutes of the match proved to be the fatal blows for the Lady Railsplitters, who fell to 3-3 overall and 1-2 in the South Atlantic Conference with the loss, while the Bulldogs remain undefeated at 8-0 and 5-0 on the year in league play. Wednesday afternoon, the LMU women returned to the friendly confines of the LMU soccer complex with the hopes of getting back on winning track when they played host to in-state arch rival Carson Newman University. The Eagles entered their only regular season meeting with the Lady Railsplitters at 7-2 on the year and tied with Anderson University for second place in the latest SAC standings at 4-1. From the early minutes of the match, it was clear that Carson Newman had a game plan of possessing the ball, and that they did. The Eagles took control of the tempo early and notched their first goal barely 5 minutes in when Varen Ness received a long pass and made a move around the last LMU defender before putting it on frame to give Carson Newman a 1-0 lead. After carrying the advantage throughout the remainder of the first half and into the intermission, the Eagles again found the nylon, this time a little more than 8 minutes into the second half when Julianne Harity received a long pass which led to a 1v1 with the keeper. Leading 2-0 and controlling the ball throughout the majority of play, Carson Newman sealed LMU's fate in the 66th minute when the Eagles' Nikki McWilliams sneaked a long shot into the corner of the frame to give CN its final 3-0 margin of victory. After the match, head coach Helly O'Dana was clearly disappointed with that loss.
Yeah, they're going to be one of the top 2-3, but they executed. You know, they played I told our girls they need to use this as a learning lesson. This is a Carson Newman team that last year was bottom of the conference, you know, and they were humble enough to work hard, come back in good shape. Obviously, he signed some new players, but we can do that without having to wait until next year.
Statistically, the Eagles outshot the Lady Railsplitters 18-13, including a 7-2 margin in shots on goal during Wednesday's match. The loss drops the LMU women to 3-4-1 on the year, while falling to 1-3-2 in the South Atlantic Conference. And Carson Newman improves to 8-2 overall and 5-1 in league play, remaining near the top of the league standings, only a game behind Wingate University, who is in first place. Lincoln Memorial now has until Saturday to make final preparations for their match with SAC opponent Newberry College during homecoming festivities at the LMU soccer complex. The Lady Railsplitters haven't played in front of the homecoming crowd in approximately 2 years, and this weekend's match is slated for a 1 p.m. start. Rain is forecast for Saturday, and that certainly won't help the Lady Railsplitters' cause. Turning to men's soccer, the Lincoln Memorial University men's soccer team also suffered its first loss of the season Sunday afternoon when the Railsplitters were beaten 2-1 by the number 16 ranked Bulldogs of Wingate University. Like the Lady Railsplitters, the LMU men were forced to play a day later in Barberville, Kentucky due to the wet weather experienced throughout the tri-state area last week. In the opening minutes of the match, the switch of venue didn't appear to affect the Railsplitters as LMU sophomore midfielder Nick Spielman was assisted by teammate George Byrne and recorded the game's first goal on a shot directly in front of the frame a little more than 2 minutes in. LMU held the lead throughout the remainder of the first half, but just as quickly as the Railsplitters opened the match with a goal, so did the Bulldogs in the second half, and in the 47th minute when Wingate's Sean Gadsby scored his second goal of the year on a pass from teammate Charlie Matchell. The strike evened the match at 1-1, and both LMU and Wingate had numerous shot-up attempts throughout the remainder, but it was the Bulldogs who were again able to capitalize in the 78th minute when Gadsby struck again, this time on a direct free kick from just outside the box to give Wingate the 2-1 lead. Despite a furious attack that saw the Railsplitters log several more shots on goal, the Bulldogs' defensive effort held, and the LMU men were handed their first loss of the year to fall to 6-1-1 on the season. Wednesday afternoon, the Railsplitters returned to campus and the LMU soccer complex to take on arch-rival Carson-Newman University. The Eagles entered their meeting with Lincoln Memorial at 6-2-1 overall and in third place of the latest league standings at 3-2, while the Railsplitters were looking to bounce back from the loss on Sunday. Lincoln Memorial took the upper hand early by going on the offensive despite being denied a shot on goal by the Eagles throughout the first half, first 20 minutes of the match, that is. Then in the 21st minute, a hard LMU foul in the box gave the Eagles an opportunity for the lead by virtue of a penalty kick, and Carson-Newman's Sendre Huelo made the most of the opportunity as he blasted a shot past the Railsplitter keeper Pedro Ozzie to give his team a 1-0 lead. With a clear momentum switch in the Eagles' favor, Lincoln Memorial picked up the offensive attack, and finally in the 33rd minute, the Railsplitters' Yinka Lawal hit teammate Leonardo Da Silva with a flicked pass, and Da Silva hit the back of the net from about 20 yards out to tie the match at 1-1. The defensive effort of both teams was extremely stingy following the Railsplitter goal until the 44th minute when Carson-Newman's Tom Reed received a pass from teammate Stuart Oliver for a breakaway which gave the Eagles the 2-1 lead going into the half. Although both teams had numerous opportunities to score in the final 45 minutes of regulation, neither would get a shot past the other's keeper, and Lincoln Memorial's failure to find the equalizer resulted in the team's second consecutive loss, which dropped them to 6-2-1 overall and 3-2-1 in conference standings. After the match, Heliodana talked about the setback.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between losing a game and getting beat. We lost a game. They didn't beat us. You know, we beat ourselves today. I mean, I'm not going to be a sore loser, but we basically gave the game away on a couple of very, very soft goals. So it's a lesson, a tough pill to swallow because that will hurt their, at the moment, their postseason hopes. But hopefully they get it and bring it next game.
This weekend, the Railsplitters will try to defend the faith in front of the homecoming crowd when they take on the Wolves of Newberry College. Newberry will enter this weekend's bout with Lincoln Memorial in last place of the league standings with a 0-5 conference record while holding a 1-8 overall mark. Start time for Saturday's match is slated for 3:30 at the LMU Soccer Complex. And unfortunately, last week's rain wasn't confined to the tri-state area. The LMU golf teams and the LMU tennis teams were both scheduled to travel to South Carolina to participate in the Myrtle Beach Intercollegiate and the ITA Southeast Regionals. Both events were canceled due to the extreme flooding throughout the Palmetto State as Hurricane Joaquin rolled through South Carolina and had residents reeling from the rainfall, while many areas and cities were declared in a state of emergency. The LMU women's tennis team now has the University of the Cumberland's Fall Invitational this weekend in Williamsburg, Kentucky, weather permitting, while the 5 Railsplitter men's players have qualified for the rescheduled ITA Southeast Fall Regionals in South Carolina. The women's golf team will be in Salisbury, North Carolina for the Patsy Rendelman Invitational, while the men's program will host the State Farm Intercollegiate at Woodlake Golf Course in Tazewell, Tennessee. All right, that's all we've got for this segment. Now, coming up, we're going to be talking with LMU Athletics Director Matt Green about some things going on here at Lincoln Memorial University that you're definitely want to be on the know about, so do stay with us, all right? We'll be back after this.
In 1982, Dixie Roofing Incorporated of La Follette has been the industry's leader in commercial roofing throughout Knoxville, Tennessee, and surrounding counties for more than 30 years. From medical facilities to office buildings and educational institutions, Dixie Roofing has the experience, expertise, equipment, and know-how to handle roofing needs of any commercial structure, big or small. Dixie Roofing is also on the web at www.dixieroofing.com. Dixie Roofing Incorporated.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Everywhere that we go, he makes people laugh and makes people smile, and I feel like I have that quality.
He's the one who always takes me fishing.
I watch golf with him. And
I watch him cook, because when I grow up, I want to be a cook too.
We have the same faces like this.
Dad is the one, when you fall, that picks you up.
That unconditional sense of presence and reassurance is really what makes him my father.
Welcome back to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. LMU Athletics Director Matt Green joins us in studio. It's always a pleasure to have you with us.
Great to be here, Rusty.
Well, Matt, I tell you what, I'm getting, I'm out in the public on a daily basis. I'm here on campus. People are always asking me, what's going on here, what's going on there. You know, we've already got 17 NCAA Division II sports. I'm told that there's a possibility we're going to be adding some more in the near future. No timeline really mentioned on that. But before we get into that, let's talk about another facility that's going to be at the fingertips of our tennis program. There's a new indoor tennis facility being erected down at the Harrogate City Park, and I know that's going to add a whole new dimension to that program.
It definitely is. Coach Collins is very excited, obviously, and when you go down to the park these days, you see a lot of beams, a lot of things going on, and so I know Coach Collins spends almost as much time down there at the park as he does at his own tennis facility. But we're really excited about that facility. It's going to allow us really to have one of the best tennis facilities in the entire Southeast. And so I know that construction's on its way. It's always great for us and for the kids, especially to see those beams going up.
When you go down and you look at this, now we were seeing some footage right there, the actual area that this building is going to cover is enormous. I mean, you're talking about a facility that is going to hold 6 courts. I'm told off the record, I guess it's unconfirmed, that there's going to be viewing areas at each end of the court, both on the first and second level.
We're hearing the same things. Like you mentioned, it's going to be 6 full courts, and then on each end, we're going to have a storage area on one side, and on the other side, like you mentioned, a viewing area from up top with glass where you can look down and watch all 6 courts. So it's going to be a beautiful facility, state of the art, and I'm excited to get our teams in there.
From an athletic administrative standpoint, a facility like this, it adds extra responsibility for the athletics department, scheduling, et cetera. But from a tennis coach standpoint and from a team standpoint, I mean, there's so many advantages. You now have a place to practice during inclement weather. You now have a place to play during inclement weather if you can get the agreement from the opposing team. Huge recruiting tool. You could potentially sell court time to the public if they wanted to come in and play when practice times weren't scheduled for the teams, or play time for the university.
And for us, it gives us an opportunity to potentially host conference tournaments. And so that's always a great thing when you can bring the entire South Atlantic Conference to your campus, allow your student athletes to compete in championship competition in front of their friends and family and classmates. And so again, it's going to give us probably one of the best tennis facilities in the Southeast. We're going to be very proud of it. And we want the community to be involved as well. It's going to be something not only for LMU but for Harrogate as well.
You've been around both the Division II, Division I level, et cetera. You've seen other institutions, whether they're NAI or junior college. When you say this would give us a facility that's one of the best in the Southeast, among the other places you've been, the other places you've experienced, how does it compare with our facility we now have?
Well, the facility we now have is obviously beautiful, and the actual field house that Benny and his student athletes have with the locker room facilities, the team room, the lounge, the classrooms up top. There's a viewing area outside of the Poteet complex on that second level. That's outstanding in itself. But when you talk about adding 6 courts indoors, there are other institutions that may have more courts than we do, but there aren't going to be many that have the indoor facility that we have. So again, it's a dynamic facility, it's unique, and it just sets us apart.
Very exciting time, not only for the tennis program, but for LMU athletics with the addition of that facility. And you know, you can go down there daily and you see something new. I mean, it's going up very quickly, and we're told after that they're going to move right on over and start construction on some things that they're going to do for the lacrosse program. So again, you're going to see that area kind of make a metamorphosis over the next several months. All right. Small communities, you know, they have their advantages and disadvantages. You have rumors that go around, some of them good, some of them bad at times. But in this particular case, the question I've been asked lately, hey, I hear that you guys are starting men's and women's bowling program and potentially a men's volleyball program. You want to take it from there?
Well, when I first got here, one of the initiatives that was put in front of me was starting some new programs. And so we looked into several different programs. Obviously, the cost analysis, the benefit of it, the capability of us to attract student athletes and then compete on a championship level as well. And we have posted the head coaching positions for men's volleyball and also a director of bowling. So in the near future, we will have a men's volleyball program as well as a men's and women's bowling program.
Wow, that's, again, big news. One of the main questions that I was asked upon right after, are we having bowling? And my response was, well, that's what I hear. Where do you recruit bowling student athletes?
Well, it's interesting. Ohio is a hotbed. Ohio is a hotbed. The Northeast is a hotbed. And you know, strangely enough, there's some local bowling teams. Cumberland Gap High School has a bowling team as well. So, you know, it's going to expand our reach in terms of the regions that we're going to reach into for student athletes. But relatively close to us in Kentucky and Ohio, there's some very, very good bowlers.
Clearly, you're seeing footage of Hillcrest Lanes right here in the Harrogate area, and as we're told, that's where we will play some of our collegiate matches once that has come to pass.
It is. Bobby Stanley's been great working alongside us. We're going to renovate a couple of things in there, have a locker room facility. We're going to get a few lanes dedicated to LMU bowling. So we're really excited about that facility. Getting a coach in here, getting a director in here, and then eventually, obviously, the student athletes as well.
Tremendous. Bobby Stanley and Hillcrest Lanes have been big supporters of Lincoln Memorial University athletics for many years, as well as the student body here at Lincoln Memorial. And a situation at hand here where it works out for them, it works out for us, and that's great cooperation there between one of the local businesses and LMU and its athletics facilities. All right, with that said, I mean, you know, volleyball, there's been some questions. Hey, how are you going to play women's volleyball, men's volleyball at the same time? But as I understand it, women's volleyball fall sport, men's volleyball spring sport.
Exactly. It works out for us. You know, Mary Mars is now, it's already busy anyway, but it's going to be busy year round, and men's volleyball being a spring championship sport, it works very, very well with women's volleyball. And I know that Jenny's excited about bringing a men's program on. She thinks it's going to help her from a recruiting standpoint. It's always great to have another volleyball mind in terms of another head coach. And we're excited about the possibilities of who we can schedule. There are going to be some Division I schools that we feel like we can schedule. Conference Carolinas sponsors men's volleyball, so there's a possibility of a scheduling alliance there. So I think it's a sport that could grow relatively quickly here.
Well, I tell you what, there are those out in the community that feel that Lincoln Memorial is literally bursting at the seams, not only from a university standpoint, but from an athletic standpoint. You walked right in the middle of it here, Matt, as AD, but you got to welcome that challenge.
we're in a growth phase, and I absolutely love it. There are a lot of institutions that aren't nearly as fortunate and blessed as we are, and so I just feel fortunate and blessed to be here and be a part of this growth.
Well, we certainly enjoy catching up with Matt Green anytime you're on the show, and we look forward to having you back, in a few weeks from now, and again doing the same.
We appreciate you and Sigmund and all that you do for us, Rusty. Thank you.
Matt Green, Athletic Director of Lincoln Memorial. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to close out the show. A lot on tap this weekend in terms of homecoming and, of course, road matches for some of the LMU athletic teams. Of course, the soccer teams at home. We'll talk about all that as we close out the show, and we'll talk about high school football. To keep up to date on all that's going on with Lincoln Memorial University Athletics, pull up the LMU Athletics website, www.lmurailsplitters.com. You'll find out everything you want to know about LMU Athletics. Back after this.
The Old Town Grill is a special place where you bring more than family, more than friends. Bring a hearty appetite, because at the Old Town Grill, you'll never walk away hungry. A delicious change from the ordinary. The perfect place to bring the entire family. The best food and plenty of it. Join the fun and treat your appetite to something special.
It's the OTG.
The OTG is the place to be.
Join the Vive Broadband TV revolution. Vive gives you the freedom to choose with loads of new channels like Up TV, The Hub, The Blaze, and Cubo. Vive's Watch TV Everywhere feature gives you the freedom to watch participating channels just about anywhere, anytime, on any device. And Vive Broadband Speed gives you the freedom to power internet TV services like Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV, and Google Chromecast. Join the TV revolution at vivebroadband.com.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. And you get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
Special thanks to LMU Athletics Director Matt Green for joining us on the show tonight. Already big things happening here under his watch as Athletic Director here for the Lincoln Memorial University programs, and more big things to come. All right, don't forget Friday night on WLMU 91.3 FM, our sister station, you can catch Adam Haley with the Game of the Week, the Old Town Grill Game of the Week. That's going to feature the Cumberland Gap Panthers playing host to South Green's Rebels. And again, that's on 91.3 WLMU FM. As Adam will have the call. So some quality high school football getting ready to take place. All right, cross country. Well, the LMU cross country team's on the road this weekend. They're going to travel down to Greenville, South Carolina for the Gene Mullen Invitational, and that should be a good meet for Jeremy Donahue and his teams to get prepped for the upcoming SAC championships. That's going to be held over in Pineville at Wasiata Winds Golf Course. So their last opportunity to get ready for that event against collegiate competition. So best of luck to Jeremy Donahue and his teams. Don't forget the LMU volleyball team on the road this weekend. They're down in, I believe, Greenwood, South Carolina. Francis Marion Lander, USC Aiken, the opponents on tap this weekend in that order. 2 matches on Friday, 1 on Saturday. And best of luck to Jenny Michael and her clubs in non-conference play. And then, of course, the LMU soccer matches at home this weekend. 1 and 3:30 at the LMU Soccer Complex. Women first, men at 3:30. And come on out and show your support. It's homecoming. We'll see you this weekend and next week right here with the Railsplitter Athletics Report.